Hey there everybody, just want to make a quick video on how to set up Palo Alto inside of a Proxmox hypervisor, since I have not seen that video yet. First things first, getting the Palo Alto image, you will have to get it through Palo Alto themselves, either getting the lab license or if your company has Palo Alto, getting added to that support portal, and then once you're logged in, going over to updates, software updates, content type, select the applicable content type. So for Proxmox, it's going to be KVM base images, and then you'll see a list of options to download. So for this demonstration, it's just going to be 11.2.0. Click on the QCOW, it'll start downloading. Once it's done, so like right here, I have it downloaded. I'm going to right click, terminal. This is just to be able to transfer that image over to Proxmox. So for me, I'm just going to use the SCP. If you're on Windows, you can use WinSCP or you can use PowerShell with SCP as well. But the point is, get it transferred over. So I'm actually just going to SSH to root proxmox2.lan. This is just a little bit easier, or you can go to Proxmox or your node, click on shell, and it's the same thing. So cd/temp ls versus cd/temp ls, exact same thing. Now that we have validated that the image is actually transferred, let's go ahead and create virtual machine. VMID, I'm just going to call it 9999 to get it kind of separated from the rest of my virtual machines. Pan OS 11.2 is going to be the actual name. Next. Do not use any media type where the QCOW image that we're going to be importing has the image and everything. Type being Linux, version being 6.x. Next. I left everything default here, so graphics, default, default, default. The only thing I changed was the SCSI controller from single to the one without saying single. Next, disk. This honestly doesn't really matter. I'm just going to call it 44 just to make it easily identifiable. Click on next. Sockets of 1, cores, I'm going to go ahead and give it 2. Type. I'm going to leave it as V2 AES. I've also had people have good luck with the host, but again, I'm just going to leave it as V2 AES. Next, memory, I'm going to give it 6 gigabytes, but this is in the single, so 6144. And then networking, I'm going to leave it on the home network for this first interface. I'm going to click on next, confirm. And that should be ready. While we're here, still with the node selected, go over to System and then Network. And we're going to go and add the network interfaces that we're going to pass over to the Palo Alto. So I'm going to click on Create, Linux Bridge. VMBR7 is what's populating next, just because of all the other ones I have. So just keep track of which interface. And then the IP I'm going to use is 192.168.99.0/24. Copy and paste that over to the comment as well. That's just a personal preference. We're going to create another Linux bridge, VMBR8. This one is going to be 172.16.99.0/24. Copy paste. So one of them is going to be our inside network. One of them is going to be our DMZ network. Once these have been added, you'll notice that the active state is still no. We need to apply configuration. Click yes. It'll make those applications. And then they are now active. Now we can go over to the Palo Alto virtual machine. Go over to hardware. I just like doing this part first, so click on the hard disk. That basically has nothing. We're going to have detach, yes. It should switch over to unused disk, select it, remove, yes. So this virtual machine now has no drive. I am going to, over to the terminal, there is a command right here. So we're in the directory that the Palo Alto QCOW is in. So we have qm import disk 9999 or whatever VM ID that you specified. The Palo Alto QCOW image, the storage location of where you want this to be. So for me, I'm selecting SSDB. Really, it's any of your storage locations here. It could be local TAC LVM, doesn't really matter. And then format, QCOW2. I'm going to click on enter. This is going to take just a second, but I'm going to go ahead and pause, and I will be back whenever it is finished. All right, mine finally finished. I don't know about you, but mine got stuck at 100% for about a minute or so. But eventually I do get a successfully imported disk. And then if we look back at our Palo Alto virtual machine, go over to hardware, you'll see a new unused disk. I'm just going to double click it. Everything default should be fine. I'm going to click on add. And then now we should theoretically have, oh, actually not yet, I'm sorry. If we go over to options, boot order, I'm going to uncheck the CD drive, uncheck the network adapter, and check the newly added SCSI drive. Click on OK. Now we have a bootable Palo Alto VM. But we still need to add the other network bridges so it knows what to do with them. So I'm going to click on add network device. I'm going to add one more VMBR0. So we're going to have two of these in total, VMBR0, VMBR0. And then we're going to add network device again, but this time we're going to add the newly created ones of VMBR7. One more time, VMBR8. So this will be our management network, our internet network, our inside network, and then our DMZ network. This next part, if you want to do it, I am actually going to click into here. I'm going to change this to 01. I'm going to copy it, click into the next one, change it to 02, click into the final one, 03. This is just for identification. It's just the easiest for me when troubleshooting. These are all virtual, so this is fine. I believe we are good to do our first boot. I'm going to go to console, click on start, that way I can see what's going on. If you get nothing here, if it automatically shuts down, expand your logs and maybe you'll see some errors that you can troubleshoot. So this here is a successful bootloader launch. So we're just going to give it a couple minutes, let it load up, and we'll be right back. I will say during the boot up, you'll see some text fly by, and eventually you're going to see an IP address. If you catch it, make note of that IP address because that is going to be the interface that we are going to log into. If you missed it, that is totally fine. Either one, you can reboot the machine. There's the IP right there. Or two, you can, once we get logged in, I will show you how to get that interface. So once you get to the login prompt, if you try to immediately log in with admin, so admin, you're going to get a login incorrect. Basically, this just means that some services are still powering up and it's going to fail. So if you still get login incorrect with admin, give it a couple minutes and then try again, and we'll see what a successful login looks like just in a moment. All right, so if you saw your screen like basically reset after that failed, that usually means that everything should be up. So I'm going to do admin, And then it's prompting you for the old password. So basically the password you just entered. So admin, and then now it's asking for a new password. I'm gonna put in a new password here. Password changed, we're all good. If you had missed that IP address when it was going by, so and then after you get logged in, we can do show interface, management, enter, and then you can see that IP address right here. So take that IP address, pop it over into your web browser with an HTTPS, click on advanced, secure, unsecure, then admin, and then we are going to use the new password that we just created, creating admin session, and we are finally in. It is going to prompt you with some welcome screens. I'm going to go ahead and click on do not show, click on the little circle to go to the next prompt, don't show, next one, don't show, and don't show. Close. And then telemetry data. This is totally up to you. You can just click OK if you just want to continue on or if you don't care. I'm kind of paranoid. I'm going to click on modify settings and disable telemetry. And this also puts us on the device tab, which is where we're going to do our first configuration.